Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay. Whew. Running a little behind. Only like 3 minutes, so I don't think that's too bad. So I think that I am going to start trying to go live simultaneously on YouTube and Instagram. Not today because I did not have time to pre-plan. I feel like my camera is a little funky. But I have an iPad, so I was like, I could go live on YouTube on the iPad, and then I could go live on Instagram on my phone, and then I would have the live in 2 places. And that would be kind of cool, you know. I do feel like that would be a lot to deal with when it comes to comments, but I do feel like there's a lot of people who don't realize that I go live on YouTube or vice versa. So who knows? Just something that I was playing around with the ideas. It's time for Yarn Can't Stay Long, but wanted to say hi. Hello. I see Winter is here and Cameron is here. Oh, I don't want to cover that. Actually, let me pull my comments up on my computer so I can see what's happening. I have so much yarn and things to share with you guys today. I'm super excited because usually I have a topic, but today I just wanted to talk about yarn because I have been on a mission to reorganize things and figure out my yarn life here in the office, yarn space, whatever you want to call it. All right, let me open this up. And I've made some progress, so I'm pretty excited. Okay, let me get to my live. Turn the sound off. I need to pop the chat out. Haha, see, I usually do all of this beforehand. Like I said, I was running a little behind because I wait till the last minute to do everything. So I had to pour my coffee, I had to go to the bathroom, I had to do all of those things before I went live. And I gave myself like 3 minutes to do all of that. So of course that wasn't enough time. Let's see. I need to make my chat a little bigger. Okay, so let's see. We've got Ellen, Helen, Emma, Amaris, Trina, Dawn, Tracy. So many people. Who else is here? Another cloudy day is here. Lita is here. Mickey is here. Yes, we have so many people on today. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I know you're all here to see the yarn, not me. I understand though. I get it. Let's see what everybody's saying. So let me know what you're doing today, how it's going, if you've got yourself some coffee or some tea, if you're working and lurking. I know if Cindra's on here, she's probably working and listening in. So let me know what you're up to. What you doing? Dawn asked, how is your day going? My day is going really well. I think you're talking to me. You may be talking to Ellen. I don't know, because Ellen always asks how everybody's doing. But it's been cool enough in the mornings lately that I've been working out on the porch. So my husband and I invested in new laptops. We have not had working, reliable laptops for probably 3 years. I have my nice desktop, which I use for everything, but we did finally realize it would be really nice to be a little more mobile with work. And there's only so much I can do on my phone. So my phone is wonderful. I use my phone for a ton of stuff. And it really kept the business moving when we were moving houses because I was able to do so much work from my phone. But a laptop makes all the difference. So we invested in new laptops last month, and I've been able to work out on the porch in the morning, and it's been wonderful. I can send out my Etsy messages. I can work on my Discord channel for my testers. I can get patterns ready because I use Canva, so I can do that on the computer. So it's been really great, and that's what I did this morning. I also have a really fun pattern that I need to share with you guys today too, because I'm already starting to think fall and winter. So chunky winter layers is on my mind. And there's some yarn that I got last October or November last year that I finally got on my hook, and I'm really excited to show you guys what that's turning into. So Thank you for asking, Dawn. I hope everybody else's morning is going great. Helen has to go grab a cup of coffee. Cheers, Helen, because it is past noon and I'm on cup number 2. And I say that this is totally like 2 cups in here. So I guess I would be on cup number 3 if this is full. And then once it's halfway, cup number 4. That's how I keep the energy going. Oh, and I lied to you guys last week. Totally screwed up my calendar. I said last Tuesday that last Friday I was going to go live with Alt Knots, Kayla of Alt Knots. And I totally had my schedule screwed up. I didn't even look at my planner. Last week, I went live with Diane of Love Stitches All. She makes the hand-poured resin handles. If you guys have not checked out her hooks, go check them out. Beautiful hooks. I don't know if she has any left, but she did a Stranger Things one, and I'm all about the Stranger Things these days since I'm working on the Max jacket. But check out Diane at Love Stitches All. Her interview is up here on YouTube if you want to re-watch it. Or watch it for the first time, since if you didn't catch it live. But this Friday, I'm going live with Kayla. I have reconfirmed with her, and I should be posting tomorrow about that on Instagram, so you guys can join us on Instagram this Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. I will actually, in fact, indeed, be going live with Kayla this Friday. So sorry about giving y'all the wrong info last week. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, see, Cameron, so excited to see all the new yarn, and we're 10 minutes in and I haven't shown it to you guys yet. I promise I'm going to get there. I have this whole thing right here is new yarn. So we're going to get there. I promise. Emma, yay yarn, candy for your eyes and fingers. Yes, so true. Yarn hauls are exciting. What can we say, says Winter. Yes, I agree. It's time for yarn. Procrastinators unite. Yes. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you. Dawn says we want to see you. Me and my yarn. You're just here for my yarn. See, this is why I'm making you wait. The tension is building. Tracy is eating lunch. Winter, thanks for the reminder. Ellen, yes, thank you, thank you. Lita, it's my birthday, so I took the day off to rest and have fun. Happy birthday, Lita. Happy birthday. And yes, Lita, you will be getting an email from me today with a special little gift since you are a Hook Club member. So get excited. I have not had a chance to send it to you yet, but you will be receiving it today. So get excited. Happy birthday to Lita. Dawn is making a granny square tote bag. And by the way, guys, I am working on a new pattern roundup, and it is chunky bags. So everything from tote bags, there's a duffel bag pattern in there, which is super stinking cute. I think it's like 21 patterns that are chunky bags, tote bags, mini bags, purse bags, big bags, little bags, no backpacks, because I'm going to do an entire roundup about backpacks because there are a lot of cool backpack patterns out there. But that made me think of that because there's a granny square tote bag included in that, but it's all chunky bags, so chunky yarn. So that should be coming out this week, I think. So that'll be on my blog. Jacqueline's here. Hello, hello. Cameron over here with some coffee and working on my second Nancy crop top. So the Nancy is in testing. That's the one I'm wearing right now. This is my favorite style of, it's a bralette. So it's supposed to kind of be a replacement for a bra. It's really not what I would consider a crop top because it's not like a full coverage kind of top. It's more of a bralette. But that is in testing. So super excited. That should be releasing next month. So maybe towards the end of August. I think I might be able to release it in August. Let's see. Dawn says, happy birthday, Lita. Emma is working on another everyday crop top, and I need to revisit that one. At some point, we need to make that one size inclusive. So I'm going to need y'all's help. We're going to have to go back to the everyday crop top, reinvent the wheel, and make it more size inclusive than it is right now. Mickey trying to stay calm by crocheting. My younger son gets married on the 20th. How exciting, Mickey. That's awesome. Ellen says nothing better than working on the porch. Yes. Oh, you're talking about me. Yes, working out on the porch. Yes, now that it's a little too hot now. I came in just in time to do the video. Winter, chunky winter layers. Yes, every time I hear anything about winter, yes. Thank you, Dawn, says Lita. Iced tea for today, says another cloudy day. I've got my hot coffee. Ellen, Evelyn's Hook Club birthday emails are the best. Yes. Another cloudy day, says happy birthday, Lita. All the happy birthday wishes. Tracy, I'm done with lunch. Gonna resume my Nancy. And Sophia, hello. Hi, Dawn, working on some sweaters for my baby goats due in 2 months. Baby goats, that's awesome. Okay, so I've caught up with my comments, so it's time to get to the yarn. And in case you guys have not heard, one of the things, so the whole premise of today's video is that I'm trying to reorganize my yarn collection. And I meant to wear my collector tank top. I have a tarot card. If you guys have not seen it, let's see. Here it is. And I've got it in both of my skin color options, but this is the collector tarot card. And I have a tank top with it, and I meant to wear that today, and I was going to change. That was something else that I was supposed to do in my 3 minutes preparing for this live video. But that's what it looks like. And I posted a picture on my Instagram today, and I said, guilty as charged, because I have gotten to a point where I'm realizing that some of the yarn in my stash, I don't have a very healthy relationship with it, because I don't want to use it, but I don't want to get rid of it. That's not good. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm not a minimalist, but I feel like if I have something that is literally going to live in a Tupperware bin under my bed, I can't look at it. I can't admire it. It's not easy to get to. It's not easy for me to see what I have to work with. It's time to get rid of it. That's how I've always felt. Same way with clothing. If I have clothing that sits in the back of my closet, I don't wear it for more than a year, it's time to donate it. So that's how I'm feeling about my yarn right now. It's time for me to refocus, make sure that I have the space for the things that I want, instead of feeling like I have all of this stuff that I'm hanging on to and there's no good reason to hang on to it. So I created these chunky sampler cake boxes. So if you, it's good for two main reasons. If you don't use super bulky yarn, if you follow me because you just like my energy, maybe you like my patterns, but you're just not a huge fan of chunky yarn, or you've never used it before, these chunky sampler boxes are a great way to try it out. So try out some chunky yarn. I can even throw in a basic chunky hook. So if you've never really used chunky yarn, you've never really used chunky hooks, you can get my sampler cake box with 6 mini cakes to try out the yarn. And you can get it's an 11.5 millimeter hook. And that's thrown in for like, I think $5 extra on top of the cost of the box. And you'll have enough yarn in that box to make a couple of my patterns. You could make 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of my chunky headband pattern. You could make my pom-pom hat that I've got. You can make fingerless gloves, and my headband and fingerless gloves are free patterns on my YouTube channel here. So if you've not made any of my patterns, you want to try out chunky yarn, you can get that sampler cake thing box along with a hook, and you can make a couple of different patterns without having to purchase any patterns from me. You can make the headband, you can make the fingerless gloves, you can make the cat ear hat. That's a free one on my blog. On my YouTube channel, and all of those call for that size range of hook. So if you get the yarn, you'll get the 11.5 millimeter hook. You can make a ton of different things with that hook. And you can try out some different yarn. So another thing, I'm going to start including bulky yarn in those kits, but I'm going to double strand it in the cake. So usually a bulky 5 plus a bulky 5 equals a super bulky 6. So if you buy one of my patterns and it calls for super bulky yarn, you can hold 2 strands of yarn together if they're a size 5, and usually that works out. So I'm going to start including some of that But the whole reason that I did those is because it was time for me to start getting rid of some of the yarn that I've been hanging on to that's either discontinued and I don't have enough of that yarn to make an entire project, because most of my projects are wearables. So if I've only got one skein of yarn, you know, unless I want to buy more of it, and some of the yarn I didn't like as much. So it was cool for one project, but now I have more than what I need. So it's time to get rid of some of it. So that's what I've been doing. And I will show you guys, it doesn't look too different just yet, but I'm going to show you guys my yarn wall and kind of how that progress, where I'm at right now with my yarn wall, because I've been doing a lot of caking, making a lot of yarn cakes. I'm going to get my tripod, and maybe I'll actually take it off the tripod for this. Let's see if I can do this. Take it off very carefully. Okay, there we are. So this is what it's looking like right now. And it really is a lot cleaner. You can see there are a couple of, like this one is pretty much empty now. That is the project that's on my hook right now, that I'm working on for winter. For the winter season, not winter who's here on the live. And I've got, yep, so you can see I've done a lot of caking. So if I come over here, let's come up this way. So you can see these that are actually caked up here. This is a discontinued Lion Brand Roving. This is one that I think I'm going to start parceling out into the sampler boxes, because I've only got this much of this colorway left. So it's not enough to really make much. And since I'm not selling hats and things like that, there's no point in making a hat unless I'm going to wear it. I do have a lot of this colorway left, so I may keep this. You can see over here, same thing, caking up some random colors that I've got. Same thing here. This one I'm going to cake out. I'm going to double strand it. This is an old yarn by Loops and Threads called Facets. It's a 5 weight, but I'm going to double strand it and include some of this in the sampler cake boxes. This is an example of a yarn that I have an unhealthy relationship with. It's called City Lights. I absolutely love it, but I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I have enough where maybe I could make a wearable, but it's one of those where it's so pretty and it was discontinued, so I'm never going to be able to buy it again. So I don't know if I want to use it, and that's not good. So I'm really trying to work through that. This is some Lily Sugar and Cream that I double stranded and caked up into a huge cake. It's a big one. But that's where I'm at right now. It has been a lot of progress for me. It doesn't look like a lot of progress, but if you saw it before, I don't know if anyone would remember that, but it's definitely been a challenge. So let's talk about new yarn, because that's why we're here, to talk about the new yarn haul. And then I'll continue to work through kind of what else I've been doing to try to organize everything. So let's see. I just want to make sure I haven't missed any questions. Winter's working on a witch hat, finally done with the increases. Some of the witch hats out there are amazing. Like the ones, is it the one with like the curly thing and all the, it's just got a lot of texture to it. I've seen a lot of those. Very, very cool. Love the tarot cards. Thank you. Yes, those are that was a really, really fun one. And I have 4 tarot cards in the Fiber Art collection now. I've got the hooker, the knitter, the seamstress, and the collector. So those are the 4 current tarot designs that I've got. Winter says, I feel you. There's so many yarns I just don't use, trying to de-stash at the moment. Yep. I'm making your pom-pom hat for a family member with super fine weight yarn. Absolutely wanted me to use cotton cake in a specific color. That's a challenge. It's a challenge. Made the hat you have on YouTube. I usually have issues with hats being too big. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yay. Yeah, that's a fun pattern. That's probably the sampler hat. Which is very similar to the simple pom-pom hat. It's just a different hook size. Love the pink flecked yarn. Yes, there's a whole story behind that yarn. I'll have to share it after I show you the new one. But that one I bought to make another mini puff jacket. So that's what that one's for. That's specifically what I bought it for, is to make a pink mini puff jacket. Ginger from Yarn Geek showed the loops and threads facets is back. Okay, that's good to know, because part of me doesn't like to put the discontinued yarn in the boxes, but that's kind of the point, is for me to get rid of and give people options so you can try a whole bunch of different styles of yarn. So that's good that it's back and it won't be totally discontinued, maybe just the colorway. Ellen says, looks great. Yay. And the witch hat is a simple pointy witch hat using Hobie Universe XL. Awesome. Okay, so let's hop into the yarn, because I've got a lot to show you guys. Let's see, I gotta get all of my boxes over here. So I've got my Hobie bag, and this is my huge box from Hooked. So I made the Angelica jacket pattern, the zipper short sleeve jacket. Worked in collaboration with Hooked, and they actually translated the pattern and bought the rights to sell the pattern non-exclusively on their website. So I still have the right to sell my own pattern. I still own the rights to my pattern, but they are also allowed to sell the pattern on their website without paying me commission on the sales. So they paid me up front, and because they are in Portugal, the trying to pay me in the US was a little crazy. And so I said, would it be easier if you guys just gave me a gift card to your online store? And then I can, I paid shipping, but I was able to get a ton of yarn with the payment that they gave me for the pattern. And I will tell you, this box weighs, let's see. It says it weighs 13.5 kilograms. What is that in pounds? Anyone know that off the top of their head? Because I'm going to have to Google it. Let's see. Oh, it's even more. 13.5. 30 pounds. This is a 30-pound box of yarn. Because as you guys know, Hooked makes heavier yarn. So not just bulky, but they're heavy bulky. So the t-shirt yarns, the macrame cord, the ribbon yarn, those are heavier bulky yarns versus the same size box full of blanket yarn, for instance, would have been a lot lighter. But that 30-pound box of yarn. So that's cool and exciting. All right, so let's start with what I got at Hobby Lobby. Or no, not Hobby Lobby. Michael's. So I went to Michael's because I knew that they were having a clearance on a lot of the chunkier yarn. I was not super impressed. They didn't have a lot of color. For me, I want colorful yarn. And they didn't have a lot of their chunkier yarn that was colorful on clearance. I dug too, dug through the bins, looked through everything, but didn't really find anything that I wanted all that much to do with. So I ended up getting a whole bunch of the same yarn I'd already bought in different colors. And that would be the Eco Tie-Dye. So if you guys haven't seen this, you may want to check your Michaels because they may still have some. This is considered, it's called a size 7, but it's not. I mean, it might be a little bit bigger than some of the other size 6 yarns I've used, but not by much. I don't know why they categorized this as a size 7. This is the kind of categorization that confuses the heck out of people that purchase my patterns for the first time and are like, well, I can't use this because it's a size 7. Well, you can if you compare it to other size 6 yarns. So it says that the recommended hook is a 9mm, which is right in line with the normal categorization of a size 6 super bulky yarn, not a size 7. I think that a size 7 should recommend a 16mm and up hook. versus the size 6, which is usually an 8 millimeter, maybe a 7, all the way up to like a 10 or a 12 millimeter hook. So this is a 9. So got this colorway, got quite a few of these. I want to do something where this is the body of the either cardigan or jacket or sweater. And then I got some trim. This is the color that I wanted to do the trim in. So it's just a really pretty blue ombre kind of color, but I think that it's really pretty with this. So that was my goal for this. I got a bunch of the green and blue and these 2 of the blue. And then I got a few more of this colorway, which is very, very different from anything I have right now, but I love it because it's got so many different color options. We've got orange, purple, bright green, blue. That's pretty much it. But I like that. I think it's very unique. Love the colorway. Let's see. What else did I get? I got some pinks. Got some more of these pinks and this kind of fuchsia purple. So those 3. I think I got 20 of these. And it was a tax-free weekend. They were $2 a piece, so I paid like 40 bucks for 20 balls of yarn. So check your Michaels if you like these super colorful things like me. Eco tie-dye. I have a whole bunch over here too, so I may have overdone it. Some of these might end up in the chunky cake sampler boxes if I don't use them all. But another thing that I've been doing to try to get my yarn and space under control is I have been selling my pattern samples. So my original creations that led to the pattern, so the photos in my patterns, those items I've been selling, and at a pretty good deal. I've been doing around $65 for the finished piece. Just because, you know, I just want the space. I want it to go to a home where someone actually wants to wear it. I have too many finished items to wear regularly. And if I sell my original pattern, so let's say, for instance, I sold my Weasley sweater, my original Weasley sweater. It was like a sagey green and brown. Now I don't have one at all. So now it gives me a reason to make a new one in a different yarn. So that may be what some of this yarn goes to make a new version of my Weasley sweater to then photograph for the new season, to show people what the Weasley sweater would look like in this yarn versus this yarn. So it's a really nice way for me to stay creative. I don't feel like I have to create new patterns all the time. I can just breathe new life into the old patterns by using a new yarn combination. And I always photograph my old patterns, so I can do a before and after. I can show a photo of the very first one that I made, even though I've sold it already, because I save all those photos, and I can show the new one. So I'm really excited. I think it's a good ebb and flow. And I do still have some items. So if we have time, when I get done with this, I'll show you guys the items that are still for sale. Because I do still have, like one of my original Luna cardigans is up for sale. My Lily romper is up for sale. My other Tonks hoodie, I'm willing to sell that one. So, and all of them are like a small medium. Like the Tonks hoodies are pretty oversized, so they could probably go medium large, because they're quite big on me. And then, yeah, the Lily romper would probably be like a medium because it's a little bbig on me too. But yes, so if you're interested in any of that, let me know. Yeah, 30 pound box of yarn. Yes. I like yarns with that texture. So it's like the softball style where it's kind of a roving, and then the roving is wrapped with one strand. I was told by Made in America Yarn, so the family that owns Made in America Yarn and runs that mill, told me that that's actually called softball style, the way that it is created. So that was new. I didn't know that. So I thought that was cool. Mickey has some of the blue, yes, and Emma loves the rainbow one. Winter, this is a wonderful idea. That stuff ends up taking up so much space. Yes, and I have found too that the skeins of yarn and finished makes take up a lot more space than cakes of yarn. When you cake yarn, it definitely compacts it a little bit. So I've been going back through, and some of the yarn that was in the skein form or even in the cake form that came from the store is going to be fluffier and more expanded than if I cake it myself. I can usually get it a little bit tighter. So it's going to take up less space. Okay, so it's time for my Hobie yarn. So this is interesting because this is a type of yarn that I've wanted to try for a while. There is a version that Lion Brand sells. There is a version that Hobby Lobby sells, and there is a version that Hobie sells. And you guys may have tried any of those from all of these different places, but it is very, 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 very similar yarn. So I'm going to show you guys. This is sponsored yarn, so thank you, Hobie. I have a vague idea of what I'm going to do with both of these. I got two different types of yarn from Hobie. One of them is definitely going to be a cotton style cardigan, but I don't know what. I don't know if I'm going to do it like a short sleeve or I don't know yet. But I'm going to hold two strands of this together because it is bulky. It's a bulky yarn. And it is the Glitter Delight. And this is the colorway that I went with. Very lovely rainbow. So we've got pink and yellow and purple in there. Got some purple, blue, green. So this is Glitter Delight, 50% acrylic, 49% cotton, 1% polyester. You can see that there. If that'll focus. I don't know if that'll focus. It kind of did. It wanted to. There we go. So you get, let's see. You get 114 yards for one skein, and it is considered a 5, a bulky. So I'm going to hold two strands of this together and make something. Oh, this way. We'll see. So if you follow Ginger over at Yarn Geek, she has been working with this yarn, so I'm super excited to try it. And all of these are the same one. So I got all the same colorway since it's super rainbow. They have another rainbow, and I thought about getting one of each, but then I was like, I don't know if that's going to go well together, so I'm just going to stick with the same ones. So I got a bunch of those. It is very soft. It's very soft. I do have to say the strap that's going around it, so this is similar. This is also that softball style. So you've got kind of a roving with one strand going around the center. The strand going around the center is metallic. So that metallic, in some cases, like if I push down and I, run my finger across it, I can, in some instances, feel that is a metallic thread that's holding that there. So it'll be really interesting to see. I think that double stranding it will help lighten and fluff it up a little bit more so that I don't feel that as much. But I'll definitely let you guys know. But I'm excited to use this one. Now, the other one that I got from Hobie, I was kind of disappointed. It's very cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it's very cool yarn. It's not what I expected, and it is not as thick as I expected. So this is a yarn that is also considered a size 5, but to me, it's got to be more of like a size 4 to me when I look at it and compare it even to the other 5 that I bought, because that they sent. The Glitter Delight is also considered a 5, and this is definitely smaller. This yarn is called Donna, and it is a 58 cotton, 15% polyester, which I thought might have been a good substitute for Bernat Maker Home Deck, which is what I've been using for my bralettes. And this is Dream Maker, that was a discontinued one by Lion Brand. But I will show you guys. So this is Donna. There we go. And so you can see how skinny that yarn is. And I'll show you guys. Let's compare it to the Glitter Delight. Let me hold two strands next to each other so you guys can see. Where's the end of this one? I was trying not to unravel it all the way, but I don't know where the end is. Someone's checking their mail over there. Okay, so let's try this. See if I can make this happen. Okay, there we go. So if that'll focus in, yeah. So you can see side by side. To me, the Donna would be much, much closer to a size 4. So let's do a test because we have the tools to do it. Let me get some cotton yarn. Where's my cotton? If I can find any. Get some scraps out of here. Okay. So this is a wraps per inch tool. We sell them in our Etsy shop if you ever want one. It's got the numbers on the back of how many wraps equal what type of yarn. So if you have mystery yarn, it's great for that. And then most of the ones we sell in our shop have our little tarot card hooker design on the back. So it's double-sided. But we do have a few that only have this. So if you don't want the tarot design on the back, you can get it with a plain back. But we are going to do a wraps per inch test on this, and we're going to see how it compares to Lily Sugar and Cream, which is considered 4. So let's do the wraps per inch. And let's see, Linda actually says looks like Lily Sugar and Cream. Now it's also a little thick and thin. See if I can show you guys. And they do say that on the website that it's thick and thin. So if you guys can see how there's like this little bump right here, those are along the yarn. So there is some interesting texture there. And that may be why they decided to classify it that way. But let's do a test. So a 4-weight yarn, I would usually consider to be between Aran and worsted, which is what this says. So let's do, and this is 1 inch wide. So I'm just going to wrap inside the inch. 2. So I've actually got about 11 around here. And so that would put me on here at a DK. And I do feel like a lot of people say like DK or worsted. Those all kind of run together for me. But I want to see how this specifically compares. So if this is 11 wraps per inch, let me wrap it back up. Let's do the wraps per inch for the Donna. Now I'm going to have to take this out because I need to find the end of this to do this. And usually Hobie has the easy start on their yarns, but not so much on this one. Okay, this is kind of a pretty messy, ball. I may have to recake this just so that it will stay together for me. So let's do the wraps per inch for this one, for the Donna. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I don't push them together, if I push them together at all, I can fit a 12th strand. And you can see I'm not forcing it. I just scooched them over. So I didn't try to squish them. They still have plenty of space. And that is 12 wraps per inch. So this is actually smaller if you go by wraps per inch. And I even let one of the chunky pieces, so this is one of the little chunky pieces, is taking up a little more space there. This is smaller wraps per inch than Lily Sugar and Cream. That's a 4. So I would definitely consider Donna a 4. So if you were on the fence, if you wanted to try it, you heard it here. This is definitely more of a 4 than a 5. And like I said, I was going to use it when I contacted Hobbii about sponsoring this yarn for me. I wanted to use it for one of my crop tops. So I'm probably going to have to reach back out and see if they want to send me more so I can double strand it. Because I'm going to do a swatch and I'm going to try to hold it double and see if it works for me maybe redoing my everyday crop top, because I've wanted to do that for a minute. I may do that with this. But yeah, that is definitely not a 5. And we can try too. Like, I kind of wanted to do wraps per inch test on the Glitter Delight just to see what it is. So let's try that. Let me see how many of these I can. Just want to unwrap it a couple of times. So let's see how many we've got here. I would think that they would do this to test and figure out, you know, what they're going to call these. I'm looking about 6 or 7. So I've got 7 wraps right here. That's 7 wraps. And it does say that bulky is 7 wraps. So this would be categorized correctly if it were by wraps per inch. So that's good. And that's what I figured this was going to be. And it's 12 wraps per inch. So I will probably give that feedback to them too, and just say, when I reach out to them, to say, you know, this is not going to work for the original design I reached out for you for. This is why. You guys might want to reconsider what you are classifying that yarn as, because that's the whole reason I got it, is because I thought that it was going to be a bulky yarn. And so, you know, okay. So that is my Hobbii haul. All right. Let me put this all away. Oh, and if you guys have not tried this yet, the Premier Cotton Fair Bulky is great. I'm a big fan of this one too. If you're looking for a cotton blend bulky, check out Premier Cotton Fair Bulky. It comes in a lot of different colors. It's, to me, what I would consider a true 5. We can actually do a wraps per inch test since I've got this right here. Let's see how many wraps per inch we've got for this one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've actually got 8, about 8 wraps per inch, 8 to 8.5. I'd have to kind of squish it to get a 9th one in there. So we're on the low side for that one, for being considered a 5. So it may work up. I have found it works up a little smaller when I use it. Let's see. But I've made a couple of bralettes with it. It's nice and soft. So this has been a good option if you don't want to use the Bernat Maker Home Deck yarn, which is what I usually recommend for my crop tops. Okay, so on to the hooked haul, which I'm super excited about because there's some yarn in here that I've never used. And the other is just super bright and I'm excited to try it out. So let's see. I had a couple people comment. Winter loves the wraps per inch tool. Thank you. Yes, I'm a big fan. I do feel like I need to look, because I pulled the wraps per inch information I can't remember where I pulled it from. So I kind of want to recheck it and make sure that I've got those numbers right. But it is very good for comparison for sure. But I kind of want to see if Craft Yarn Council has their own version of this, if that's not where I pulled it from. And I'd kind of like to add jumbo to it, because jumbo yarn to me should be about 2 to 3 wraps per inch. And that would mean that between super bulky and jumbo would be about 4. Linda says, I love your designs. Thank you. And Cindra's here working and lurking. Yep. And Yarn Geek is here. Hey, Ginger. I missed a bunch of these. Let's see. How did that happen? Another cloudy day is making notes. And yes, hey, Ginger, if you're still here, hello, hello. And I told you, I don't know if you came in before, but I got some of the Glitter Delight. I know you'd been using it, so I'm super excited to use it myself. Let's see. I want to try the Cotton Fair waiting for a sale, and they should put it on sale. I feel like Premier does some pretty good sales. Ellen, there you go. Get the hobby yarn size qualifiers using wraps per inch tools. Yes. Cameron, I'm obsessed with Premier Cotton Bulky. It might be a new favorite. I agree. I want to do something where I hold it double. I would really like to try that. Maybe next summer, if they're still carrying it, I may get some of that and do a summer cardigan-esque piece with 2 strands. Let's see. Linda says, I have some hand spun baby merino thick and thin, and I'm making a cowl with a large hook. And I have used thick and thin yarn. It can create a beautiful effect. I'll show you guys before I get into that. Here it is. This is hand-dyed merino wool as well. Well, it's hand-dyed wool, 100% wool. I don't think it's merino, but this is the thick and thin yarn that I used. So you can see it is gorgeous. I love that it's almost like bubbly. So this is, it was the precursor to my Angelica jacket. So it has that similar sleeve style to the Angelica. I did the front piece has some ribbing and it wasn't long enough, so I added some single crochet. So it's very interesting with the texture, but that's thick and thin, but that is also a size 6 thick and thin. Okay. Let's see. And I think I got all my comments, Ellen. Did I get all my comments? I don't think I missed too many. And Cameron said, I've never seen this method of determining yarn weight before. Yes, and that's why I want to double check my numbers, make sure that it's good. It's time for yarn. Never heard of the wraps per inch thing to classify the yarns. Thanks for teaching me something new. Yes, it's super helpful, especially if you just need to compare. So again, I'm going to double check my numbers for these, but for me, it helps me realize, okay, this is definitely a smaller yarn. And I have been asked to start putting wraps per inch into my patterns so that people can more easily see if their size 6 yarn is the same as my size 6 yarn that I used for the pattern. So I feel like that could be super helpful. And I think that my newest pattern that's being tested right now, the Gilly Penny, I believe I put wraps per inch on that one. So excited about that. Linda, Cameron, where do you buy your Premier cotton? So the Premier Cotton Fair Bulky that we're talking about, I think you can only get it on Premier's website. Could be wrong, but that's where I've been getting it. And usually they'll do sales. So if you sign up for their newsletter, they'll email you if they're doing a sale. I've gotten sales as good as buy one, get one free, I think, is what I did for the Cotton Home XL, which is a super bulky. It's considered a jumbo. size yarn. I'll show you guys that one. Let's see. Because this is, oop, that cake's running off. This is still new as well. I don't think I ever showed this off. I got a whole bunch of this from Premier. This is their Cotton XL. It was buy one, get one free, so I got a whole bunch. This is their yellow. You can see it says it's a size 7. And I think that the wraps per inch for this one is around 3. If I don't let it twist, it's definitely 3 wraps per inch, because I'd really have to squish that over to get a 4th one in there. So that would definitely be a jumbo, because super bulky is 5 to 6 wraps. But this is a thin jumbo yarn, because if you're looking at like Bernat Blanket Big or Bernat Blanket Jumbo, or like the super chubby Chanel that Michael's put out last year, those are going to be on the much larger side, and some of those are like a wrap and a half per inch. So they're much larger jumbo yarns than like this one. Let's see. Cameron got hers directly from Premier as well. Ginger says, I love it. The glitter is just like Arabella from Hobby Lobby. That's what I was saying. Be careful if you need to frog it, because the non-metallic part pulls apart if you pull it too much. Yes. So I was thinking of doing like a looser stitch with it. So I'm going to hold it double and probably use a 15 millimeter so that it'll be a little bit more of like a fluid stitch, and it won't be super tight. Hopefully I don't have to frog it too much. Hopefully the design works out the first time. Emma says, I find it really hard to find big chunky yarn that I really like. I know I don't like ribbon yarn. It makes my arms hurt. Yes. So I feel like the good things to go with, you can try a Chanel style yarn. Like, let's see, this kind of yarn can be a little bit easier to work with. Sometimes it makes your arms hurt if your hook is too small. If you're working on a project that needs tighter stitches than your body wants to do, you can up your hook size, and that will help a little bit. Like that's what happens with t-shirt yarn. If I'm making a bag using t-shirt yarn and a 10 millimeter hook, I know that my body's going to hurt, because it's going to be difficult to do that. But if I'm making like my Angelica jacket with t-shirt yarn, I'm using a 20 millimeter hook instead of a 10 millimeter hook. So it's a lot easier to pull the stitches through, and you're not having to like tense your muscles up as much. Another good one to start with is something like a roving. This is a size 6 yarn, so like a roving wool, or something like the Eco Tie-Dye. Some ones like this are going to be easier on your body than a t-shirt yarn. These are not as stiff. The yarn is not as stiff. Even this one's going to be a little bit stiffer, but this one's not going to be as bad as t-shirt yarn. Another thing with ribbon yarn to keep in mind is what the ribbon yarn is made of. If it's 100% cotton, it's going to be stiffer. So Hobie ribbon yarn is 100% cotton. It's going to be harder on your body if you're doing tighter stitches. If you do looser stitches, it's going to be a little bit easier, but there's no give to it. There's no stretch to it. And I think that's a lot of what causes it to feel more difficult to pull your stitches through. So let's talk about some ribbon yarn that is not 100% cotton and maybe a little bit easier for you to work with. So the first yarn I'm going to show you that I got from Hooked is their ribbon yarn. And they offer packs of ribbon yarn, and a lot of times the packs will go on sale. So that's what I got. I got two or three packs. And this is how it looks. You get 5 colors. This is how they package it. So I got 2 of these. And it's the pink, the orange, the blue, the lemon yellow, and the lime green. And this is what it looks like up close. It's kind of a marled look. It's called Hooked Ribbon XL. And this yarn is 80% cotton, and it's 20% other recycled fibers. that actually gives it, whatever those other recycled fibers are, gives it a little bit more of a stretch, like a give when I'm working with it. To me, this has been easier to work with, a little nicer to work with than the Hobie ribbon yarn, depending on what you're making. I don't know if I would want to make a bag out of this because of that additional stretch. So if I were making a tote bag or a crossbody bag, I would prefer to use the 100% cotton because it's not going to have as much give, versus this, which I actually made a cardigan out of this that I'm working on. If you guys have seen my new Batwing cardigan, this is what I used for it. And I wanted to try out the different colors. So I got all of these beautiful neon colors. I'm so excited to work with them. I don't know what I'm going to make yet. But there's no pressure since this was payment yarn. I don't have to design something new with it. I could make some of my older patterns with it if I want to. It can sit on my shelf until next year, and I can make something next summer with it. But I'm really excited about this yarn. And I do recommend. I recommend it. Now, I don't know, have any of you guys, if you're on here, have you tried the Hooked Ribbon XL that's not neon? Have you tried just their plain colors of yarn? Because I'd be very interested if it's similar to this, or if it's 100% cotton, if it's like a plain color. I don't know. So I've got to look into that. But this ribbon yarn and their Lurex yarn, which is like the shiny, shimmery ribbon yarn, I think would be similar to this. Okay, so the other yarn that I got from Hooked is more t-shirt yarn. I thought this was really, really pretty. I didn't want anything too similar to what I got last time. But that's their Hooked Spaghetti Prints. So I love this. I don't know what I'm going to use with it yet. I don't know what I'm going to make. Now this one is similar to the one that I made my first Angelica jacket and my first Gilly Penny. Very similar in colors, but it is a little bit brighter. So it's got a little bit more of the pinks in there. So that's the other t-shirt yarn I got. And I got, let's see, I think I got 5 of these and 6 of the purple, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 and 4. So I got 5 of the purple and 4 of the neon. Okay, so the last yarn that I'm going to show you guys is one that I've been wanting to try. I made it my goal this year to, I wanted part of my goal as a brand to be to try all of the different kinds of super bulky, and jumbo yarn out there and make different patterns with these different yarns instead of using the same kind of yarn. So I used to use Woolies Thick and Quick for everything that I made, that or something similar like a Hometown USA or Mandala Thick and Quick, very similar. So all in that same kind of realm, but I wanted to try these other types of yarn, like t-shirt yarn, ribbon yarn, Chanel yarn, all of these different styles of yarn. And there's another one that I haven't used yet, and that's macrame cord. So I've never used macrame cord to try to crochet something. So that's the other thing that I got from Hooked with my Angelica jacket payment was macrame yarn. So I'm going to show you guys. And I got some fun colors. So this is called their Spesso Chunky Cotton. And that's what it looks like. And we are going to do a wraps per inch test on this because the macrame cord is usually done by millimeter. And this one didn't even have a size listed. It looked like it was their thickest macrame cord that they sold. So that's what I went with. It's 138 yards. So the yardage is pretty good. This is another color. Got this lime green. And then I got 2 more. These are the other 2. So I'm pretty excited about them. We're gonna see what this is all about. I'll probably end up making some kind of accessory with these. So I've been wanting to make a water bottle holder and maybe a different type of tote bag. We'll see. Again, I don't want to make something that's going to be super, super hard on the body to make. So that's why I think like a water bottle holder would probably be better because the stitches can be more open around the bottle. Let's see. Oh yes, we were going to do a wraps per inch test. So let's go with the green. I gotta put all this yarn, but see, this is what I need room for all this, and it has to sit in the box right now because I don't have room for it. Let's put all this back in here. Okay. All right, that's cleaned up a little bit. All right, so let's do a wraps per inch test on this cord, this Spesso cotton. To me, I would think it's between a 5 and a 6. It does look like it could potentially unravel easily. So if you unravel it, you've got a ton of pieces that you'd be dealing with. So usually what I do when I work with any kind of yarn that is twisted like this, or that is roving yarn that has to keep a little bit of twist to keep it all held together, I just make sure that I kind of keep it twisted while I'm working with it. That tends to help a little bit. So let's do the test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is a super bulky macrame cord. And I've got 6 wraps per inch. Now it's on the smaller side of super bulky because that would be up to like a 5, maybe pushing into a 4, but we've got 6. So it is definitely in that category. So for me, when I'm using super bulky yarn, if I'm making like a bag or something like that, I'll probably go down to maybe a 10 millimeter. I'm a pretty tight crocheter, so sometimes my test drills will use like a 7 or an 8 or a 9. But 10 is usually the limit for me. But if I'm making a wearable using super bulky yarn, I usually push upwards towards 14, 15, 16 millimeter range. My Pomona tee is a 14. My Luna cardigan is a 15/16, depending on what you have. 15 and 16 are my go-to. So it'll be interesting to see what I end up doing with this. It may be next year before I do that because I'm already starting to try to think about my winter designs. And then I've got the Max jacket that I need to work on. And that will probably be one of my first fall designs. I've got the Batwing cardigan, which is going to be a great transition piece into the cooler weather. But I wanted to show you guys the yarn that I'm finally starting to use that I bought last year. So I don't have one still in the wrapper yet, but I'll show you guys the wrapper. So this is the yarn that I'm finally using. This is Hobby Lobby brand. It is a braided velvet. It's a jumbo yarn. This is what it looks like. It's Yarn Bee Chunky Knit Velvet. It is definitely braided. If you look, if you look at the end, how it's all coming apart. What I usually do, I'm going to have to do a video doing this, but I actually find the piece, I can pull a piece out and loop it through to close up the end. I can actually show you guys that real quick. So I actually closed up the end of this one after I cut it so that it doesn't fall apart. And then I tied a knot because this is going to be part of the design. Got knots on either end. And I'll show you what I have so far. All right, this yarn does tend to shed, but I believe it's shedding mostly from places I've cut it. So this is what I'm working on for winter. This is a super chunky ribbed vest. You can see the ribbing. If you guys saw last year, I did, let me lift this up a little bit, and this will be the last thing because I know I'm a little over. But if you guys saw last year, I did my Power Puff jacket. Let's bring it out. So this is the Power Puff jacket. And I realized there are not a lot of patterns out there for jumbo yarn, especially not for wearables. And I wanted to change that. So this is the Power Puff. It's got its little pockets. And I decided that I want at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 patterns for wearables that are made using jumbo yarn. So this is Bernat. This is a jumbo Chanel, like Bernat Blanket Big or Bernat Blanket Chunky. And so this will be my next attempt at another jumbo design. And I think what I'm going to do is you'll have an option to either do a big chunky lapel kind of thing here, like the collar, or all you have to do is keep going on the collar, flip it up, and you'll have a hood. So it'll be hooded. But I also want to try to do some kind of tie at the bottom so it won't close. I don't want to close it because this has no give. It's going to be hard to get on and off over your head. So I think what I'm going to do is, this is really thick yarn. So I'm going to take it around the bottom to create a tie here in the front that I can tie into a bow. And I'm going to do a bottom row of single crochet stitches where I encase this in that bottom row, and it'll create a cinch. So I'll be able to cinch tie that closed and have a little bow in the front like this around that bottom piece. And it's just an interesting, it's a different, you know, shape. And I thought that was really cool. I think it'll be fun. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe once you do the tie and the single row, you could add more rows to make it a little longer, and it would be tying in the center and you would have a longer piece. But I think I'm going to leave it sleeveless, and you'll have the option to stop it so that you have a collar. You can go as many as you want to have a collar, or keep going to have a hood. So I think it'll be pretty customizable and fun, but it calls for that super, the jumbo yarn. I think maybe 2 strands of blanket yarn could be cool for this one too. So there will be a lot of options, but be on the lookout for that one. Probably September, I'll probably do a test for this one, a tester call, but that's what I'm working on. I know I'm over time, but I'm super excited that you guys came on today and joined me for my yarn haul. I don't do them as often because, like I said, I try not to have too much yarn. If I don't have a goal for it, then it's just going to sit there. So working on that. And Emma, I think Hobby Lobby is still making the braided yarn. The last time I was there, they had it and it wasn't clearanced. So they probably still have some of this. And Ellen, the macrame cord is not super soft. So that's why I don't think I would make a wearable out of it. Tracy has the hooked ribbon XL in plain pink, and it's 80 cotton and 20 other fibers. So that's good. So the plain, it's easier to find the plain hooked ribbon XL. So that would be a good option for anyone who has struggled to use ribbon yarn from Hobie because it's too stiff. 100% cotton. This has a little more give. Hooked is having a big summer sale, 50% off until August 15th. I don't think it's on their t-shirt yarn, but I think it's on a lot of their ribbon yarn kits. So I would definitely check that out. It is a lot cheaper to get their ribbon yarn shipped from them than it is their t-shirt yarn. It gets really expensive when you start adding t-shirt yarn to your cart. And yes, Mandala has a thick and quick version. It's what I used for my second Tonks hoodie and for my Romping Willow overalls. And I think I'm going to be doing a giveaway for some of that yarn coming up here soon, so keep an eye out. think everybody's liking these. Got 3 of the orange for a project tray. Love hooked ribbon yarn XL. Yep, that's winter. Also working on a coffin purse with the black. Yeah, I'm a big fan of ribbon yarn. I really like it. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for joining in today. I will be live on my Instagram channel on Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time with Kayla from Alt Knot, so be sure to mark your calendars. Come join us. And then I will be live next Tuesday back here on YouTube. And most likely we're going to be following up with a part 2 of craft show prep. So we're going to be talking about how to plan out inventory for craft shows, figuring out how to find the right ones. We'll talk about a checklist for craft shows, getting everything prepared. So that should be a good one. So join us again next Tuesday. Thank you again, Ellen, as always, for being a wonderful admin. And thank you all for joining in live. And I will talk to you all soon. Happy hooking, guys.